EFCC in his bid to have a successful anti-corruption war. Agbakoba stated this while speaking in an interview on Rise Television this morning. The legal luminary also urged the president to relieve the EFCC chairman Abdulrasheed Bawa of his job in order to have a fresh leadership for the agency in the new administration. On the issue of the senior advocate of Nigeria, Olisa Agbakoba, saying that President Tinubu should dismantle the EFCC and sack its chairman, we have reacting to the speech by the senior advocate Awa Omiko of the Sunday editorial desk. Let's take a listen to him.
Agbakoba saying the President Tinubu should dismantle the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and sack the chairman, that it needs a fresh leadership for the agency, or just other anti-corruption agency or unit we have in this country that can take their stead. Is it a good call to say that the new president should sack the EFCC chairman and work with a different anti-corruption parastatal in order to reduce the corruption in the country?
Well, that is an agency of anti-corruption. There's no doubt about it. And from what we have seen about them so far, they have been so partial in carrying out their activities. In fact, corruption has crept into it, and I am totally in support the learned luminary, because you have to dismantle it and re-establish it. If you dismantle it, you rejuvenate it, make it better, and let it equally monitor itself. Because you see that, hello?
I'm with you, sir. I'm with you.
You see that most times they carry out partial justice. When you go there, you give them money, they will overlook. And if you look at all the people in the house, most of their cases are still pending in court. Why will such happen to financial issues? And if you look at it, because they are not doing their work as it should be, that is partially why our systems are like this. It is a systemic problem. And if at all they have to be dismantled, let it be a total overhaul of the whole system, not the EFCC alone. NAFDAC is equally involved. All other agencies, the police system is equally involved. The military, all the whole system. Let there be a rejuvenation. Look at outside now. Look at if you walk into the streets and you see the level of corruption everywhere, crying, looking at you, staring at you in the face. You can't do anything. But for EFCC, they have to be checked. If you must check others, if you must come to equity, you must come with clean hands. How many of them are clean? How many of the politicians in Senate and even walking on the streets of one minister even went to make a T-shirt and say EFCC, I am available. But because Mr. President or whatever, or the presidency or the party where they belong seems to be protecting them, that is why they are not working as they should. It should be dismantled and they should be made to be independent, not linking or being attached to the presidency or to the parties that is in government. They should be made to be independent to carry out their works. Thank you.
Okay, all right, sir. This is not the first time we are hearing the call for the sack of the EFCC chairman. Ever since the beginning of the year, we've been getting calls from different civil society organizations and different personalities. Recently, he was embroiled in allegations of corruption with the former governor of Zamfara State, Governor Matawale, former governor of Zamfara State, accusing him of demanding a $2 million bribe from him. Can we say this is a thing of the EFCC as an organization or Bawa as an individual?
Well, it's an individual. If the head is corrupt, what happens to the body? If the head is rotten, all other parts are rotten. If the head can go hand in can go around demanding for bribes, what do you think will happen to others? I wouldn't know if you've been peradventure if you've ever accosted or come across or have any case to do with them. They will first tell you the money you have to give them personally before they could prosecute such cases. You just have a little case with them, and you know that they too are equally demanding for their money. So that is equally demanding for bribe. So that is why I say it's a systematic thing. It does not only end with the headship of EFCC. It's a systematic thing, and I believe it is not only EFCC. All the agency of federal government are involved. They are involved in all these things. So by the time we shed the presidency, the president shed its light on onto other areas about the CBN, about other financial institutions that are involved in high level corruption, which we don't even know. And even if at all it is discovered, you will see one way or the other the case will only be hard and nothing comes out of it. How about the senators that are in the house now? Most of these politicians are not just there because they want to rule the people. They are there in order to cover their dirty past, so that they will not come after them. So the whole system should go beyond EFCC. And as I said earlier on, I said it's a systematic thing. It has to do with institutions. If our institutions are if the institution of a country is weak, it will automatically run down to the people and run down to how a country should be run or is run or will be run. So please, I am highly in support of that call. Thank you.
Seeing as Bawa was appointed by former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2021, right? Seeing as he was appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2021, I want to, know, is there any, two questions I would like to ask back, sir. Is there any other anti-corruption parastatal or unit in this country that can stand in for the EFCC while it is undergoing that overhaul that you are propagating, sir?
Well, mind you, I said the place is there. Only we underrate our police force. Our police are very, very intelligent people. We have them. The police is there, and in the police force, there's a financial issue. They have a department that handles financial crime. Meanwhile, let the police take over. Why EFCC is doing overhaul? Now just look at what happened of late. DSS sending all of them out. Why do you think DSS has to intervene? Because the period of transition is always the period of perpetuating high level crime. The DSS just overnight sent all men. Before you know it, they will tell you this fire, that fire is gone.
On the world news at 12, we are listening to our Omiko speaking on the senior advocate of Nigeria, Olisa Agbakoba, urging President Bola Tinubu to dismantle the EFCC and sack Abdulrasheed Bawa, its chairman. Let's take a listen to Agbakoba speaking on the Rise Television this morning.
Talk about anti-corruption. The anti-corruption process is not working. I have challenged the constitutionality of the EFCC. The EFCC is a behemoth. It needs to be dismantled. Mr. Bawa needs to go because what he's doing is not attracting people's confidence. He needs to go. He's always in battles with everybody. Now he's battling Matawale. That's no way to fight corruption. So we need to see Mr. Bawa step aside honorably, so that the anti-corruption process can be seen to be genuinely fought by the president without any equivocation. So all the guys who took part in the old government should always step down. Now, he needs to have good people.
Meanwhile, Chief Spokesman for the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council Festus Keyamo has said that President Bola Tinubu did not remove fuel subsidy. According to him, a section of the media is mischievously twisting the narrative to read that Tinubu's government has removed subsidy, despite President Tinubu proclaiming that subsidy was gone while giving his inaugural speech on May 29. Keyamo, who is also a former Minister of State for Labour, rather said that Tinubu's administration only inherited a regime where there was no provision for subsidy in the 2023 Appropriation Act beginning June 2023, and the Petroleum Industry Act, which is now extant, has no provision for subsidy. In a series of tweets on his official handle, he said President Tinubu merely acknowledged the state of affairs in his inaugural speech at the Eagle Square. He added that those claiming to defend the rights or welfare of workers should convince the Nigerian people that the $10 billion injected into the economy annually will not jumpstart the economy enough to create massive jobs and even increase the same minimum wage they complain about. Meanwhile, representatives said the fuel, when removed, will be channeled into the development of other sectors. In the meantime, the Labour Party has faulted the announcement of Tinubu, likening his action to the emergence of an Egyptian pharaoh during the biblical era who taxed the people. This was contained in a statement signed by the party's acting National Publicity Secretary, Pastor Obiora Ifo. He lamented the return of queues to filling stations and the transportation price hike occasioned by the announcement. The party warned Nigerians to brace up for more surprises and rude shocks from the current administration in the coming days, saying it is an indication of a tougher time for Nigerians for the next 4 years. Plateau State House of Assembly following the fresh sealing of the facility by the police. A member of the State House of Assembly, Watson, formed from Just South constituency, confirmed the development in Just, the state capital. Watson, who condemned the action of the police, said that the development had prevented the state lawmakers from reconvening for the plenary scheduled for today. And motions passed for the good of the people with the intention to reconvene today to continue with legislative functions, only for the police to barricade the complex. You will recall that for about 2 months, the Plateau State House of Assembly has been under lock and key at the instance of the Police High Command, whose personnel daily manned the Assembly complex. Since the police sealed the complex about 2 months ago, the lawmakers have not been able to hold plenary until last Tuesday. Barely 24 hours after Caleb Mutfwang succeeded Simon Lalong as the new governor of the state. Meanwhile, the police explained that it sealed the complex to forestall a breakdown of law and order in the wake of the leadership crisis rocking the assembly. The lawmaker representing Jos East constituency, Ayuba Abadi Yakubu Sanda, had been engaged in a legal battle over the seat of the assembly speaker. When contacted on the latest barricade of the assembly complex, the spokesman for the state police command, Alabo Alfred, said the police will not be dragged into the politics of the state, as its duty is to maintain law and order, and that is what is being done at the state assembly complex. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. After the break, we'll bring you stories on the foreign scene. Welcome back. Now on the foreign scene, Chinese leader Xi Jinping has called on his top national security officials to think about worst-case scenarios and prepare for stormy seas as the ruling Communist Party hardens efforts to counter any perceived internal and external threats. At the meeting of the party's National Security Commission on Tuesday, the Chinese president said the complexity and the difficulty of the national security issues the country now faces have increased significantly. He added that the country must adhere to bottom-line thinking and the worst-case scenario thinking and get ready to undergo the major test of high winds and rough waves and even perilous. Senegal faces a host of challenges, from a struggling economy to what it sees as an increasingly hostile international environment. In the face of what he called a complex and grave situation, President Xi said China must speed up the modernization of its national security system and the capabilities, with a focus on making them more effective in actual combat and the practical use. He also called for China to push ahead with the construction of a national security risk monitoring and early warning system, enhance national security education, and improve the management of data and artificial intelligence security. And that's it on the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the main points again. You heard that a senior advocate of Nigeria, Olisa Agbakoba, has urged President Tinubu to dismantle the EFCC and sack its chairman. You also heard that Keyamo has said that Tinubu did not remove fuel subsidy. You heard that the federal government will meet with the Nigerian Labour Congress at